Is that, if you can describe that communication and talk with us about whether that was typical of the communication from the base or Department of Defense officials on the situation with PFAS at Patrick Air Force Base?
Basically, what we've been told, ma'am, is there's no problem here. They don't have a problem. They don't see the need of a problem, and they're not going to deal with it. I actually have the city manager from Satellite Beach here with me and the vice mayor, which they've been told pretty much the same thing by the leadership at Patrick Air Force Base. They admit that they contaminated the soil. They admit that the source of the PFAS is from the foam coming from them. They say that they have no regulatory requirement to clean it up, and basically we're on our own. The city of Satellite Beach, where I live at, we've got about 12,000 residents. Within the past year, we've had 15 residents come down with rare forms of brain cancer and rare cases of breast cancer. And then what hit me like a ton of bricks is I was having lunch with a friend of mine I'd flown with him in the Army and in the Air Force. Matt's like a uncle to my daughter. And he told me, he said, we were flying a mission Thursday night, and he said, I about broke out crying. And I said, why? He found out that another retired member of the squadron daughter just came down with brain cancer last week. That makes 16 in a community of 12,000 people. But yet the Air Force and the DOD still refuse to accept responsibility and to clean this mess up.
I just want to ask you a follow-up question, and I am limited in time, but do members of the community that lived in and around Patrick Air Force Base believe that DOD's response to the crisis of PFAS contamination was adequate? What more did you feel they could be doing? I do have the communication, and without objection would like it to be entered into the record. And as you described, it does specifically dismiss the explicit suggestion from the Air Force's own study about the contamination of the drinking water and the groundwater.
It's been totally inadequate, ma'am. The Air Force leadership and the DOD has completely failed every service member, dependent, and civilian person living on and around Patrick Air Force Base.